Hey guys, what is up and welcome to my channel. It's a Hardback Live. My name is Jordan and today I'm going to be doing a book review on A Good Girl's Guide to Murder by Holly Jackson. And by the way, this is the first book in a trilogy. So if you're thinking that this is going to be a standalone, I am sorry, you are wrong. But it has so far been a good ride. And A Good Girl's Guide to Murder consists of A Good Girl's Guide to Murder, Good Girl, Bad Blood, which is book number 2, and the third and final book, which came out in September, As Good as Dead. And I am currently reading this series with one of my friends, Buddy reading it, so I am excited. But before we get into the book review, I want to share with you guys the books that I have finished so far. And don't worry, it's not a long list, it's only 2 books. The books that I have finished so far have been A Good Girl's Guide to Murder, of course. I finished this November 1st. And Summer Night, which is the I almost said fourth and final. It's the 4th book in the Dresden Files by Jim Butcher, and I love this series too. I think I'm going to do a book review on this one and the 5th one, which I'm currently reading. Like I said, you guys, I'm currently reading Death Masks, which is the 5th book in the Dresden Files. And I'm also reading at the same time Eye of the World, which is book 1 in the Wheel of Time series by Robert Jordan. And so far, I don't know really what to think about it. I'm on chapter 3. And I'm on chapter 10 of this book. I'm enjoying it. Alright, you guys, without further ado, let's get into the book review. Alright, so I'm just going to talk about the synopsis and then basically break down what I thought of the story as per characters and the plot and just the story overall. Okay, so our main character, Pippa Fitz-Amobi, is about to be a senior in high school, and she is basically what you would call a workaholic, or like a homeworkaholic, if you will, because she's in high school. She's basically a do-gooder, good girl, always gets her homework in on time. But her main problem is, and she really starts to realize that throughout this book, is she doesn't know who she is if she is not completing a task. Or like a big assignment, if you will. And that's essentially where our story begins with her. She chooses her project to be about a murder that happened in her small town. So the gist of the story is Andy Bell, who was a senior back in 2014, was murdered by Sal Singh. Sal Singh, in the synopsis, is her boyfriend. And he ends up killing himself not too long after he's accused of murdering Andy. And yeah, this murder case plagued the whole town. The small town of Fairview is convinced that he did it. And basically everyone's convinced that he did it. So the police closed the case. And that was that. But our main character, Pippa, is not so sure that he did it. So she sets out on this whole journey to basically prove Sal's innocence. She finds out way more about the people of her town, because it turns out a lot of people in her town are keeping a lot of secrets, especially when it pertains to this case. And the more and more she digs up, the more and more her life becomes more of an obsession for Pippa, because she gets deeper and deeper and deeper, and she has a little help along the way. And I will say that there's a little romance in this book, and also friendship and family dynamics. Would I recommend this book to anybody? Generally, yes, because it is a YA murder mystery, and it's fun and also very crazy. I would recommend this to anyone who enjoys like a good murder mystery solving type book. Also, like, if you like podcasts, or like you love those shows where you basically get one piece of clue after another and you finally solve the puzzle of who done it, you know. Those types of people would love this book. So let's break it down real quick. Character wise, I think that Holly did a decent job of fleshing out the characters. There are a few characters, though, that were never fully fleshed out. Some of the suspects, because there are a lot of suspects in this book. But yeah, she did a fairly decent job of fleshing out quite a few of the characters. She didn't flesh out all of the characters. Like, there's a couple suspects, I'm not going to say who, we just didn't get much on, and that was a little disappointing. But her character work is still pretty good. I'm going to give her character work a 3 out of 5. And I'm a very character-driven reader. So, that's me being, like, really, really generous. No, well, yeah, kind of. Because if you really want to impress me with character-driven books, you gotta really, really flesh out your characters. And I feel like I said, she did a decent job. She didn't do a superb job. She did a decent job. But good enough for me to enjoy this book. And I feel like plot was there. I mean, it was driving the story mostly forward. There were a few setbacks, I will say, which kind of left the story at a standstill. But I feel like there are things that she did that I will not say because it's spoilery, that did save the book for me. I feel like she did a good job driving the plot forward too. Really, like I said, I really, really enjoyed this book. And it reminded me a lot of Truly Devious, which is another favorite murder mystery series that I really thoroughly enjoyed. The difference is, in my opinion, like I said, Maureen Johnson, who wrote Truly Devious, I think did a much better job of fleshing out characters, of driving the plot forward, of, I don't know, just, I don't know, giving us more detail, but like in certain spots as to not overwhelm us. That's what I think Truly Devious has over this book. And yeah, like, I'm comparing it to Truly Devious because it's super similar. But I still really enjoyed it, and I can't wait to finish the trilogy. But anyway, you guys, that's my book review in a nutshell. You should definitely pick up this book, and I also have a review on Goodreads. Go ahead and check that out. Anyway, you guys, this is Jordan signing out. Bye.